Greetings and welcome to this week's magical message. I pray that you all have had a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week so far, and you're ready to kind of get some clarity as to some of the energies we've been experiencing. Now, this week has been an intense week. You know, if you have been paying attention to anything, whether it be energies, news, weather, relationships, anything at all, you have felt the intensities. You have felt maybe even some pressure, right? And so the purpose of this, right, when we get into the overall energy of this reading, the overall energy is Miss Robinson, which really is about correcting the error of your ways, right? Or paying the price for those errors. Okay. It can talk about it being very easy to kind of fall in line with some of the energies that you're focusing on or some of the things that are taking place. So this week is going to challenge you to make sure that you are making a defined and very clear decision within yourself to resonate at a certain space, to move a particular kind of way, to keep your mind and your emotions in check, right? Because the other side of that with Miss Robinson is that you fall prey to some of those more negative or more shadowed aspects of these energies that are present. So this week, you really want to make sure that you are lifting yourself up. And, this is the middle of the week. So if you have felt some of these pressures, you felt some of these different intensities and everything, and you haven't been in a space where you feel really vibrant or you feel really aware of self and trusting the process, trusting your path, trusting yourself, take some time to love on you, right? That is some of the fastest ways that you can kind of redirect your own course, which is loving on self, making sure that you're paying attention to how you're feeling and why you're feeling it, what you're doing and why you're doing it, what you need and why you need it, right? So this week, that's going to really help you to be able to shift those energies. If they get a little overwhelming, if they get a little intense, just reground yourself, right? And make a decision once again as to where it is you want to stand, okay? Because it's going to be intense. We're in intense times right now. Things are going to be heightening in terms of energies and just the things we're seeing, some of us experiencing. And I mean, we'll all be experiencing it on different levels, but there are going to be some people who experience them in some different kind of ways. We'll put it that way. And so there also brings in this energy of the Justice card. It's not up here, but the energy of the Justice card is definitely present when we're talking about, which way are you going to fall, right? Which way are you going to stand? And are you going to be in alignment with higher frequencies and higher energies? Or are you allowing yourself to be washed away with some of these more negative energies and negative frequencies? Okay, the choice is yours. Now, in the beginning of the week, we started with Railroad Bill. And this energy is all about quick movement forward, right? Making sure that you're taking charge of your life and you're moving forward powerfully. And so again, we addressed that thing about it was important to make a decision in the beginning of the week as to where you were going to stand. Now, it doesn't mean that if you've made a name for yourself in terms of causing harm or just living in a more shadowed aspect of life that all of a sudden things are going to be peachy, right? It doesn't mean that. But it does mean that you have the ability to recognize yourself and to move in alignment. Now, you're still going to be experiencing consequences to who it is and that you've been and how it is that you've been. But you have the ability this week to recenter, get clear about where you want to go, why you want to go there. And it doesn't even have to mean that that shadowed aspect doesn't even mean that you've caused harm or anything like that. It could simply mean that you spent a lot of time second guessing yourself, or you spent a lot of time with things and people and events on your mind that do not serve your highest good, right? And sometimes we can get carried away with that, right? And so now it's important that we really choose where it is we want to stand, and we move powerfully in that direction. Okay, so that was the beginning of the week. With the middle of the week, right, I feel like that beginning of the week was a little bit of a lesson, right? We've all probably had some things that we had to try to balance ourselves in, right? But the middle of the week is really talking about the opportunity to overcome the things that have been getting the best of you, so to speak. Now, for others, this could mean that you were getting ready to pay a very heavy price, right? But on the light side of it, you're getting ready to move away from a space that is no longer serving you, that you recognize is no longer serving you, and that for whatever the reason have been taking something from you, have been causing some kind of harm, whether it be emotional or mental or physical or spiritual, and you're having the ability to break free of this energy, right? And it didn't come easy. This came with a fight. It came with you having to take all those intense energies and standing 10 toes down, whatever way you were going to stand. So for those who are on the lighter side of this, you could be experiencing things like your health getting better, just overall circumstances getting better. Your relationships may find ways to mend and heal themselves, right? Or maybe you're working on the relationship with yourself and how you move with yourself and what you allow and your boundaries and that kind of thing. If it's on the negative side, then you're taking a deep dive into some of those more shadowed, intense energies, right? The negative self-talk, those obsessive thoughts that just find their way in. And maybe at this point, maybe you've gotten to a point where you believe some of those negative things that you've been telling yourself, and so it's not just another voice. Maybe it's becoming a belief. Maybe it is you experiencing the result of those more shadowed thoughts and conversations with yourself. Or maybe you hadn't maintained certain boundaries, right? And maybe you allowed those things to come from other people as well. And you're experiencing the trauma from that. You are recognizing how deep those things really hit. But overall, if you're on the light side, you're going to be seeing things begin to shift and some light shining on you. And the more you move forward, the more the light will shine even brighter, right? So it's up to you to make sure that you're trusting that. If not, if you haven't been in that energy, it's going to be change that comes, but it's not going to be change that you really desire, right? It's not going to be the direction you really want to go in. This could be breakups. It could be illness. It could be, in some cases, this could even be death, right? So making sure that you are aware of your position here. And even, or just as important as that, making sure that you're aware of the people around you in their position, right? Because you don't want to put yourself in energies with other people who are on the more shadowed ends of this, because it means that some of that shadow is going to touch you. And it's not necessary, right? And so sometimes we have to lean into maybe some of that more shadowed aspect of this 3 of Knives, where we talk about separation or breakups or emotional trauma, that kind of thing, when we are cutting things out, when we're letting things go so that we can move forward. And it doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it's traumatic to leave things behind, especially if we have particular attachments to them. But these things are necessary for some of the shifts and the changes that we want to see take place. Okay, and then we're going to end the week with Son of Sticks. So you could be experiencing very, I almost want to say magical, but the energy is a little bit more intense than the word magical. The energy definitely feels a little bit more intense. So I'm going to say that this energy is more on the side of maybe mystical, right? And so you may find by the end of the week that for things that were problems before, you're coming up with solutions. Maybe there was something more that you needed to see, and you finally moved yourself into a position where you can learn or see those things. You may even be able to be in a space where you are energetically and vibrationally ascending, right? And so everything in your life is elevating. Everything in your life is shifting. And maybe you're even called to go into some more of that kind of hermit space while you're elevating. It means you're probably not sharing everything with everyone. You're with yourself and you're addressing what this feels and what this feels like and what this means and who you are in this new space and everything that it took to get where you're going, right? And where you are. If you're on the more negative end of this, you've taken some of what has taken place throughout the week and the energies of shifting and changing. And at this point, you have committed to those energies, right? Or the people around you who have been in those spaces, as they've committed to those energies. You're going to have an opportunity to really see what side of the fence people are standing on. It's kind of like in the midst of a war. And for those of you who are paying attention to some of the more energetic and spiritual things taking place, in addition to the physical, right, you know that this is wartime. And so at this point, you pick a side. Which side are you going to be on? Okay. And by the end of the week, you're going to be very clear. If you were questioning, if you weren't sure, if anything was on the fence, right, it's going to be black and white. It's going to be very, very clear as to where it is that you're standing, right? You may be dealing with people who are really selfish. Maybe they're constantly putting you down and telling you why you can't do something and what you're not going to be able to do. And all of that is because they're jealous. All of that is because they know, whether they consciously know it or whether that's on a more internal level, they know that you're headed somewhere that they can't go. Sometimes the only reason they can't go is because they are unwilling to let go of the load and to heal. And that's okay. It's okay because everybody has the ability to make their own decisions, their own choices in their life, and choose the direction that they want to go. And whether they say it or not, because they made those choices repeatedly, because they decided to stand in the fire and when given opportunity to shift and to change, they decided to stand where they stand. They want to be there. And that's okay. Now you get to stand where you want to stand. Right? Make sure that you're in reflection. Make sure that you're in gratitude. Make sure that you're congratulating yourself and you're celebrating yourself, even in the midst of these energies. And understand that sometimes things will feel as though they have gotten worse. Sometimes they will feel like they have gotten more intense. Sometimes it will look ugly before it looks beautiful, before things have gone into a space where what you see visibly is peace and the kind of change that you've been working for. So stay to the path, continue to move forward, trust in yourself, trust that a way will be made if you are not sure how that way will be made. And know that if you don't know, it's not for you to figure out. So let it happen. You just be clear on where it is you're standing and you move on that. Okay? Let the universe have the rest. Because everything's not on you. The only thing that's on you is you. Who you're going to be, how you're going to be, what you're going to be. And what you're going to allow to be with you. Okay? Because that's going to influence everything that you have going on. Clear the space. If they don't vibrate with you, they got to go. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out the reading. I want to thank you all. I pray that you received the message that you needed to get. I hope that if it resonates with you, you do what you need to do. And if you want to share, leave a comment, or my email is down below in the description. So definitely send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to book a reading, my number and my email is in the description, and I would be happy to put you on the books. And in the meantime, congratulations, happy elevating, and we'll see each other or talk to each other next week. Bye.